In this video, we're going to explore some of the most groundbreaking AI tools that are changing the way we create, design, and interact with the world. We'll see how Veo 2 is setting a new standard for video generation, how Anidoc is automating the tedious process of animation colorization, how Articulate Anything is turning everyday objects into movable 3D models, and much more. Get ready to witness the power of AI like never before. All right, let's talk about something that genuinely blew my mind recently. Veo 2 from Google. This is, hands down, the best video generation model I've seen yet. And honestly, I thought Sora was as good as it gets. But then Veo 2 comes along and it's just on another level. I remember looking at the first version of Google's Veo thinking, yeah, it's kind of interesting, but not that great. But this second iteration, it's just insanely good. Every time I go on my timeline, I see these video clips that look 100% realistic. You wouldn't even know they were AI generated. Of course, you'll still find some minor artifacts here and there. That's just the nature of these things at this stage. But overall, I'm overwhelmingly impressed. This is a game changer for content creators. Imagine being able to generate entire movies with consistent characters, all from a single prompt. And Veo 2 doesn't just do the visuals, it can also add text and music. What kind of world are we going to be living in when you can just say, hey, generate a Batman film about this, or generate a film about a dog doing that? It's going to be wild. I'm extraordinarily bullish on this for the future of content creation, and I think it is going to have other implications as well. For example, I predict that it will make real-world footage way more valuable. Because if anything can be generated, then the stuff that actually happens in real life becomes way more unique and important. I'm genuinely excited to see what people do with this technology because I think it's really, really effective. What you're seeing right now, these aren't just cherry-picked examples from Google's marketing team. These are real videos generated by users who have early access to Veo 2. That's right, ordinary people are creating this level of realism with AI. And honestly, if I didn't know any better, I would have thought most of these were filmed in real life. Take a look at these product review videos. I mean, the lighting, the textures, the way the products are handled, it all looks incredibly authentic. It's hard to believe this wasn't filmed with an actual camera. And check this out. Someone's apparently recreated some shots from Game of Thrones using Veo 2. The results are stunning. Now yes, if you look closely, you might spot some minor issues in a few scenes. Like this one here where it's obvious that it's an AI-generated video. But honestly, when you compare it to other video generation models out there, Veo 2 is light years ahead. And this? This is a scene from a Bollywood-style dance number, supposedly generated by Veo 2. I'm not seeing any flaws here. It looks completely legit, the movements, the expressions, the vibrant colors, it's all there. Okay, now let's get real. Food and drink, that's a tough one for AI to get right. But look at these results from Veo 2. Are you kidding me? Are these really AI generated? I'm not seeing any of the weirdness or glitches we're used to seeing. The way the food is handled, the way the liquid moves, it's incredibly realistic. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments if you spot anything off, because I'm genuinely impressed. Alright, crowd shots are another area where AI often struggles. But look at this, a busy market generated by Veo 2. All these people, the movement, the interactions, it feels so real. And here's a crowded beach on a hot day. This is perfect. The detail, the way the light reflects off the water, the sheer number of people, it's amazing. Now check out this aerial shot of the same beach. Really, can you tell any difference from a real drone footage? And here are some shots of a crowded train station. And some shots of a packed stadium. Seriously, excellent results across the board. Now let's move on to something a bit darker, horror. Most of these are pretty good, but this is where I think Veo 2 still needs a bit of work. In some scenes, the realism kind of breaks down. Like in this one, the girl is supposed to be running from the monster, but it looks more like she's going for a light jog. And in this scene, the girl seems terrified, but she's looking in the wrong direction, not at the monster. So there's still room for improvement in the horror department. But then you have these cinematic shots, and these are just amazing. Look at the lighting, the composition, the detail. These look like they were lifted straight out of a Hollywood movie. You genuinely can't tell that they are AI generated. And finally, here are some vlog-style shots. Again, these look incredibly realistic. The camera movement, the natural lighting, the everyday settings, it's all spot on. So, what are your thoughts on Veo 2, guys? Let me know in the comments section. Personally, I think it's the most advanced video generation model we've seen yet, and rumor has it that Google is planning to release it to the public by the end of this month. Now, someone commented that it's useless because it doesn't have an image-to-video feature. And to some extent, that's true. If you want to generate videos with consistent characters, having an image-to-video feature is essential. Hopefully Google will address that because it's a must-have if we want to start creating entire movies with AI. Alright, next up we have an AI that's not just cool but also super useful. It's called Anidoc, and it's going to save animators a ton of time. Basically, it can colorize line art videos or photos very consistently just by using a reference image. Traditionally, animators have to spend countless hours coloring each frame of an animation by hand. It's a tedious, boring process that doesn't really require much creativity. So, wouldn't it be amazing if an AI could just automate all of that? Well, that's exactly what Anidoc does. Let me show you some examples. If you give it this reference image of Anya and then this line art video, Anidoc will colorize the video like this. Notice how the colors are super consistent with the reference image. Here's another one from Spirited Away. This reference image, this line art video, and boom, here's your colorized result. And it works for different styles too. Here are some examples from Jujutsu Kaisen. Again, this is the input image, this is the line art, and here's the final colorized video. The colors are spot on. You can even adjust the skin tone by feeding it a different reference image. Want a scene to look sunny? Use a warmer skin tone reference. Want it to be cooler? Use a cooler toned image. It's that simple. This tool is a lifesaver for animators. No more coloring individual frames by hand. Just generate your line art animation, plug in a single colorized frame as a reference, and let the AI do the rest. Here's an example where the reference image stays the same, but the line art video changes. See how it colorizes the character consistently across all three scenes. Or here, where the line art stays the same, but the reference image changes. Notice how the hair color, especially for Anya, is slightly different in each reference image. Anidoc colorizes the video differently based on each reference. It's a really flexible tool. It can even automatically detect multiple characters in a reference image and color them accurately, as you can see here. And it doesn't just do characters. You can also edit the background using reference images. Want access to the absolute best AI models out there without the hassle of juggling multiple platforms? Let me introduce you to ChatLLM by Abacus AI, your all-in-one AI powerhouse. This incredible tool puts the latest and greatest models like O1, O1 Mini, GPT-4o, and Claude Sonnet 3.5 right at your fingertips. Plus, it's got some seriously smart features. Root LLM automatically picks the best model for your prompt, and Search LLM scours the web for the most up-to-date info. Need your AI to sound less robotic? The Humanize feature lets you adjust the tone. And get this, you can generate stunning images using top-tier generators like Flux 1.1 Pro Ultra, Ideogram, and Recraft, and even create videos with just a prompt using powerful video models like Kling, Luma, Runway, and Hailuo. Coders, you'll love the Artifacts feature for seamless app building. Plus, creating documents and analyzing PDFs is a breeze. And for the ultimate customization, the AI Engineer lets you build your own fine-tuned chatbots. It's all here, ready to experience the future of AI in one platform? Sign up using the link below for your first month free. Check out these examples with different backgrounds. The line art video is the same, but the AI colorizes the background differently based on each reference image. So, how does it work? The pipeline has two main stages. First, it takes a reference image and a frame from the line art video. It uses an algorithm to align the color information from the reference image with the line art. You can see it aligning the colors for each frame here. Then, in the second stage, it uses another algorithm to fill in the colors for the entire animation. And that's how you get your final colorized video. Now, if you compare Anidoc to other similar tools, you'll see that Anidoc handles colorization much better. It produces more accurate and consistent colors. Plus, as I mentioned, it can handle multiple characters and different backgrounds. They've already released the inference code so you can download it and run it locally on your computer. There's also a Hugging Face demo you can try out online. I'll drop all the links in the description below. Alright, let's move on to Articulate Anything. This AI is pretty cool. It can take an image, a video, or even just a text prompt and create a 3D model from it. But it's not just any 3D model, it's an articulated object. This means the model can be moved and manipulated just like the real-life object. For example, feed it this video of a toilet, and it generates a 3D model where you can open and close the lid. Or give it this video of a swivel chair, and you get a 3D model that spins around. Here's a video of a cupboard that slides in and out, and indeed the model also can slide in and out. And a suitcase, where you can move the handle up and down. So, basically you can take any object from the real world, a chair, a window, a suitcase, whatever, take a photo or video of it, or even just describe it in text. And this tool will create a digital version that you can move around just like the real thing. This has some really cool applications. It can be used to create objects for simulations, video games, or even to train robots. For instance, once we have a 3D model of this toilet seat, we can train a robotic arm in a simulation to close it. And after training, when you deploy that robotic arm in real life, it'll know how to close a toilet seat. Same goes for this laptop example. Train the robot arm in the simulation, and it'll be able to close a real laptop too. It's a fantastic tool for training robots to interact with real-world objects. Or you could use it to design and test new products. They do have a GitHub repo with instructions on how to download and use it locally. I'll link to the main page in the description. Next up, we have FaceLift. This AI is seriously cool. It can take a single image of a face and turn it into an incredibly high-quality 3D head. Check out these examples. This image turns into this 3D head, or this image, and here's the generated face. Notice how realistic the face is, and the hair is super high definition with fine details. It looks exactly like the input photo. Here's another one. It's impressive how it generates all of this from just one photo. It's really hard to guess someone's side profile, but FaceLift handles it like a champ. And this old man? The accuracy and detail are just amazing. It even works with 2D photos. And this one's tricky. The woman has voluminous hair covering parts of her face, but the AI still generates a really accurate 3D head. Now with these 3D models, you can also animate the face, make it talk, or show different expressions. Here's another example using a 2D image. You might need to use another video editor to smooth it out. Still, it's a very cool tool. They have a GitHub link, but it doesn't look like they've released the code or model weights yet. I'll link to the page in the description for now. Alright, next up is HSfM, which stands for Humans and Structure from Motion. This tool can take a few photos of a scene from any angle with cameras in random positions and stitch them together to create a 3D model of the entire scene. And it's not just any 3D model. It also includes the people in the scene, their 3D body shapes and their poses, along with everything else in the environment. Trees, buildings, the floor, the sky, you name it. Plus, it shows you where the cameras that took the original photos were placed and where they were pointing. Here's an example. These 4 photos as input, and it generates this 3D model. You can see the person, their pose, even one of the input images within the 3D scene, and it predicts where all the cameras were. If you compare this to other similar tools like Master, you'll see that HSfM has much higher accuracy in reconstructing the scene. And it's unique because it can handle scenes with multiple people in complex environments. This could be super useful for VR, video games, or creating 3D worlds for robots to navigate and map. I'll link to the page in the description so you can read more and check out some interactive demos. Now let's talk about robots for a second. Unitree just released a crazy demo of their robotic dog, the B2W, and it's seriously impressive. Look at how acrobatic and flexible this thing is. It can do flips in midair, and it's blazing fast even on rough terrain. This is just madness. Imagine being chased by one of these things. And even when loaded with 40 kilograms or someone sitting on it, it still moves around easily. Imagine your arch-enemy riding one of these, chasing you down. If you haven't heard of Unitree, they're a robotics company building some of the fastest and most versatile robots out there. They already broke a record for the fastest bipedal robot, and they have another humanoid robot called the Unitree G1 that's also incredibly acrobatic. And speaking of robotics, Boston Dynamics released a video of their Atlas robot doing a backflip while wearing a Santa costume. They've been pretty secretive about this new version of Atlas, but this shows just how powerful and agile it is. It seems like most of the attention in humanoid robotics goes to Tesla's Optimus bot, or the Figure robot, but they seem to be significantly behind Unitree or Boston Dynamics Atlas. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen Optimus or Figure doing backflips or anything close to this level of acrobatics. Alright, let's shift gears to something a bit different. ChatGarment. This AI is pretty interesting. It can do three main things related to clothing design. First, you can feed it an image of someone wearing clothes, and it'll figure out the sewing pattern and design. Pretty cool, right? Second, you can input an image as a reference but prompt it to adjust the clothing. For example, you can say, generate the upper body sewing pattern similar to this image but with long sleeves. And it'll do just that. Finally, you can just prompt it to generate things from scratch. For example, generate the sewing pattern for a short skirt. And here's what you get, and then you can also edit it further with promptings. So if you write edit the skirt to mid-calf length without changing its style, here's what you get. Or if you prompt it with change the skirt to ankle length long skirt, this is what you get. Now, using AI to create sewing templates is a use case I never thought of before, but it makes perfect sense. Designers could use this to quickly create patterns for new clothes. Or it could be used to create or edit realistic clothing for characters in video games or movies. And it's also perfect for e-commerce. Online stores could use it to generate 3D models wearing their clothes. The code is coming soon, so it looks like they're planning to open source it, which is great. I'll link to the page in the description for now. Finally, we have a pretty cool and unusual use case for AI, DrivAerNet Plus. This is an open source database with 8,000 AI-generated car designs. Each design is a detailed 3D model with 26 design parameters, like car length, windshield inclination, mirror position, diffuser angle, and so on. And these designs cover both gas-powered and electric vehicles. They've also created simulations for how air flows around each design, including data on drag, lift, and other aerodynamic metrics. This database took a lot of compute to create 3 million CPU hours to produce 39 terabytes of data. So, what's the point? Well, you can train an AI model on this data to generate new car designs based on performance or aesthetics. Or you can train another model to predict the aerodynamic performance of any car design. This can significantly speed up the design and prototyping process for cars. It's a really cool tool. The dataset is open source under a Creative Commons non-commercial license, and all the instructions on how to access it are on their GitHub page. I'll link to the repo in the description. And that sums up some of the most exciting AI highlights from this week. Let me know in the comments what you think and which tool you're most interested in trying out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.